Alright guys, welcome back to Swoody Craft. We're back with Kerbal's episode 2. So last time we left off, we just finished our first mission. We got some science, we got some cash, and now we want to use it. So we're going to go in, like I said last time, we're going to go research and development first, okay? So we want to unlock some goodies here. These are pretty cheap, they're only 5, we've got 48. So let's go ahead and get them both. That'll give us some liquid fueled rockets, a bigger solid fuel rocket. So boom, we'll unlock that, and then we also want to come down here and get some science-y stuff and some radios so we can actually transmit, not to mention a decoupler so we can get some multiple stacking of our thrusters. So we'll unlock that one, alright? And now we still got another 38 to go. So survivability gives us some heat shields, radiator panels, landing struts, which, you know, I haven't used those yet. I really don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what to use them for. A service bay. Now this one is like it's kind of like a damage resistant bay for your spaceship, so you can put stuff in there that you don't want to get destroyed when you bring it back to the planet. And these right here are the money makers right here. Alright, we got the drogue chutes and radial mounted chutes. These let you put parachutes on the side of your spacecraft instead of having to have the one that you stick on the nose. And these are awesome, let me tell you, especially the drogue chute, because these regular chutes have a very limited speed capability. If you try and deploy them too fast, they'll break off, basically get destroyed. Whereas the drogue chutes have a much higher speed that they can deploy at. So if you look down here, 424 meters per second, whereas the regular chutes 264 meters per second, so they can do twice as fast. And that, you know, you don't think that's too important, but when you start falling out of the sky or you start deploying from orbit and falling out of orbit, it is definitely important. So we're going to unlock that because we want those chutes. Those things are going to be money makers for us. Alright, we got 23 left. Let's see, we can do one of these. So we can do general rocketry, which gives us another fuel tank and fuel engine, as well as a bigger solid thruster. Or we can do stability, which gives us a aerodynamic nose cone, a better wing, basically stabilizer for flight, and the radial decouplers. Now this is good. Radial decouplers lets us stick things on the side and still be able to drop them off and launch them, which is excellent. So let's go ahead and get that. I think this would be more beneficial to us at this point than having the bigger rockets. And I think one more mission should give us enough that we'll be able to unlock this anyway. Alright, so we're going to get out of that. Now, we have 268,000. Now, I know you're going to be tempted when you first start upgrading your buildings. You're going to be like, bam, I got 268,000. I want to upgrade everything, use all my money. Don't do that. You still have to pay for your vehicles. So every time you make a rocket, I don't think I covered this last time, but every time you build a rocket, you actually have to pay for the parts. So as you can see here, this one is cheap. It's only $1,000, basically. Okay? But as you get bigger and more rockets, every part costs money. Every stabilizer, every parachute, everything costs money. So if you spend all your money upgrading your buildings, you got no money to build a rocket, and then you have no way of making more money without doing one of these little administrative deals where you can like sell back some of your reputation and stuff like that. But you know, if you don't have to do that, you don't want to do that, right? Alright, so mission control, that's 75 grand to open that one, and the launch pad. So right now our big limits, okay, this can only do 30 parts. So the biggest rocket we can do has 30 parts, and it doesn't matter what the part is, whether it's a coupler, a parachute, an antenna, a battery, it doesn't matter. Every part's a part, and this thing can only handle 30 parts. This thing, on the other hand, can only handle 18 tons. Now that sounds like a lot, but I will tell you that that's pretty small for spaceships, okay? So a couple things that I want to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the launch pad, okay? So that's a much easier way to get much bigger spaceships. So now look at that, boom. Almost 10 times as big, 140 tons. So we can build a much bigger spaceship now, right? Now this one I would love to upgrade this, but we don't have enough money. So we'll wait on that. We'll do one other mission first before we worry about upgrading that. Mission control, however. So right now we can hold 2. We can upgrade this and get up to 7. So let's go ahead and spend 75 grand and we'll upgrade that. We still got 150 left. Let's go to mission control. And so now that we finished that first mission, a lot more businesses, and this may be connected to your reputation, I'm really not sure, but we get a lot more businesses asking us to do jobs for them. So right now we have no active jobs. The 2 that we had, we completed on our first flight. So we have a max capability of holding 7 jobs now, so we can come back here and we can look for other jobs that we want to do. So escape the atmosphere, which is 70,000 meters or better. I'm pretty sure we can do that, so let's grab that one. Alright, what else? Focus flights. Now these require flights, which I think you need the space plane. So I was trying to do these on my last game, and the space planes are very difficult to build a plane that can get high enough and still be able to take off. Yeah, it's surprisingly hard to make an airplane on this game. Even being a pilot, I was having a lot of trouble making a plane that could take off that didn't explode on the runway. And it sucks because the runway is made of dirt and it's very bumpy and everything. We'll see it a little bit later on, but it's a nightmare. Let's just say that it's a nightmare. Alright, so let's see. Mark 16, that's the big parachute we used the first time. We want to haul one into flight above Kerbal, so we want to take it into flight. So we have one on Kerbal while flying at these speeds. So that's it. It just says take one. We don't even have to deploy it. So yeah, we can do that. We'll attach one to our next flight, no problem. Focused observation, like I said, these are like flying over specific areas of the planet. We're not going to do that because we don't have space planes yet. Alright, test the flea solid rocket booster at the launch site. We can do that. We have the flea. Let's see here. Stack decoupler over Kerbal. So it wants us to have one of the decouplers. We've got that. Kerbal while flying, and it wants us to decouple between 42 and 49,000 feet. We may be able to do that. We can give it a shot. The big kicker here is probably going to be the speed, but I think we'll be okay. I think we can do that. Now, as I told you guys last time, so all the other ones that we had were all just positives. It didn't matter if you failed. These actually matter if you fail. So you can see here, you lose money, you lose reputation if you fail. So if you get the job and then kick out the job, you'll lose reputation. If you take the job and you can't do it before it expires, then you lose money and reputation. So it's kind of important not to grab these until you're ready to do them. Like these, I don't want to accept these jobs until I'm ready to do them, because it'll actually cost me money if I can't get them done in time. Alright, so we'll grab that one. The hammer, I think we have the hammer. Let's see, suborbital trajectory, I think that's 70,000 feet. I think that's all we need to do that. Oh, no, right here, 22 to 2,300 feet. So I don't know if we can hit this or not. Let's not take that one just yet. Test the heat shield over Kerbal while flying. I don't think we can do that one yet either. Liquid fuel engine, let's see, altitude, I don't think we can do that one. And orbiting Kerbal, I don't think we're ready to orbit the planet just yet, but it doesn't have any negatives, so we'll take it. Alright, so that gives us 5 missions. Yeah, alright, that'll be good for now. Let's see what we can do. Alrighty. So let's build our next spaceship. And so I'm going to show you, when you come in to build the spaceships, if you forget, I'm going to zoom out here, shift and mouse wheel. If you forget what your missions are, you can come down here on this little tab and click it, and it'll bring up all your current missions. So we've got Mark 16 parachute we want to test, right? We've got the flea solid rocket booster we want to test, and it can even give you the notes. So to perform this test, you have to activate the part through the staging sequence when all test conditions are met. So basically this one just wants us to launch the flea, right? So yeah, you can look at each one of these, it'll give you the notes on it, and then yeah, so there you go. So if you forget what you're doing, or when you're building your rocket, you want to specifically tailor your rocket towards a goal. Like right now, we're gonna try and knock out 2 goals. We're gonna knock out the Mark 16 parachute and testing the flea solid rocket booster. So we're just gonna launch the same rocket again, but we're gonna test these 2 conditions while we're at it. All right. You could also do the decoupler, but I don't think this ship can get high enough to actually do that. However, what we can do is we can take this rocket, move it down here. Okay, we'll come back to the couplers, and we'll grab the coupler. So if you look at the coupler, so right here, if you right-click, it'll keep the window move here, even without your mouse. So if you don't right-click it, you just put your hand out with your mouse wheel over it, it disappears when you move away. But if you put your mouse wheel over and right-click, it'll bring up more information, and it'll also give you it'll keep it there, and so it won't go away. Now, if you look at the decoupler here, you see the arrow, and it tells you this in the description. Painted on its sides are handy arrows indicating which side will detach. So whenever you make this thing, you want to make it so you don't want to carry that extra 0.05 tons around, or you might want to get the money for returning it. I don't know. But you can use these arrows to determine which side is going to actually detach. So I want to detach the whole darn thing from my ship here. We'll throw that thruster back on there. And now, if we're going to do a detached one in a 42 to 49, we're probably going to need a second motor. So we'll take this, we're going to throw that on there, and then we're going to throw another motor on the bottom of it. So let's see, we didn't grab the hammer, right? We don't have the test the hammer, so we won't grab that one. We'll just do another flea for now, because I think we need the flea on the bottom anyway to test it. Okay. Alright, so we have that. Now, if we look at our center of gravity, or center of mass, it's right in the middle. Okay, so that's going to be kind of nose heavy. Aerodynamics really doesn't have any, because we don't have anything on it. Center of thrust is right down the middle. Now, what we can do to help ourselves out with that center mass is we can add a little mass to the bottom of the ship. So we have two different fins here. You got, yeah, two different fins. I mean, you can look at them. One's heavier than the other. They have the wing surface area here, so whenever you're using them, if you want to use these on an area space plane, you can. They provide lift. If you wanted to maybe make this thing so that it would glide when it fell down, you can do that too. You just got to be real careful about making these things top heavy. Let me tell you, they will tumble at a moment's notice. Anyway, so the bigger the wing, the more surface area, the more stable it makes it. It also adds more weight. So we're going to grab, this is a cheap, cheesy little plane, so we're going to grab this fin. Alright, and I want to get rid of the center of thrust because it just takes up a lot of room. We're not worried about that. All thrust is going down. Now, if you look at the fin, let me zoom in here for you. I kind of covered this last time. You can do multi-staging, right? Or multiple parts. So right now we only have one. As you can see down here, only one on the Symmetry. Now I'm going to hit the X button, and that's going to go to 2. And as I drag this around, you can see now it has 2 fins on it. Okay? Hit it again, and it goes to 3. And I think 3 will probably be good for us. It didn't move our center of gravity, but it is going to give us more aerodynamics to keep the plane, hopefully keep our spaceship flying straight. Alright? So now, as I told you last time, we want to look at our couplings and our staging, right? So here we go. First time we hit spacebar, that bottom rocket's going to launch. Second time we hit spacebar, that decoupler is going to decouple the bottom thruster from the top thruster, okay? Now, like right here, if you look, the engine and the decoupler are both on the same. If we hit spacebar, it would fire this motor, but it's also going to decouple it from our cabin. We don't want that, right? That would be kind of silly to fire a rocket and then immediately detach at the same time. So we want to move that down to a different stage. So we'll do rocket, decoupler, rocket, and then finally the last decoupler from our spaceship and our parachute as we fall back down to the planet. Now, I showed you guys last time you can adjust your parachutes. Now, if you want to do it, you can do it actually before you launch them. You can come in here and adjust the altitude your parachute will deploy at before you ever even go out there. And if you do that while you're in here and save your design, it will save those preferences for your design. So it'll save the actual everything on there. And well, let's see, these cheap fins I guess don't provide anything, so they don't give you anything. You can do the decouplers allow cross-feeding. Now, these being solid rocket boosters, there's really nothing to cross-feed. But if you had liquid thrusters, which we'll probably do later on, if you stack a fuel tank coupler, you can put the side mount liquid thrusters, and then as you use them up, you can actually detach. You can cross feed your fuel from the bottom, and then you can just detach those fuel tanks off the bottom, and lowering your weight while still allowing your engine to run and stay attached to the aircraft. So yeah, alright, so I think that'll be good for now. We'll just leave everything at the basic 1,000 feet and everything. I think we'll be okay. We do need a pilot. Ugh, I almost forgot to add a pilot. So okay, good. Valentina's already in there from the last time we built this spaceship. So let's go out. Well, I guess it's not really a spaceship. It's more of a rocket. If it can't make it to space, I guess you can't technically call it a spaceship, right? It's just a rocket. Alright, so we're out here. We're on our launch pad. You can see level 2 launch pad, much better. It actually has blast pads for allowing that thrust to vacate away from your rocket. It's just, you know, it's just snazzier all around. Just snazzier all around. Alright, so let's do this. So we want to bring up, so there's a couple things I forgot to cover last time over here. So right here is the same little Wi-Fi deal. It tells you what missions you've completed. It's kind of useless right now. This one is kind of good, especially if you really want to hawk whatever, you know, you're trying to be the most efficient you can with your engines and stuff. You want to bring this one up, and it'll tell you exactly how much fuel you have. And I forgot again, see the monopropellant right there. I could have left all this monopropellant out. It's just a waste of weight really for us right now, but I forgot, and I'm not going back to do it right now. But you can see this. It gives you all of your electricals, so when you add batteries, it tells you how much electricity you have, and it'll list all your different fuels. So if you have a liquid fuel rocket, it'll actually list your liquid fuel and so on and so forth. So that's all shown there. You got your missions here. So as you can see, we've already met a lot of the requirements. And again, if you forgot what the heck you're supposed to be doing, you can look and see what the requirements are. So we're at the launch site. We've got this. Now all we got to do is run the test on it, which we're going to do when we launch. We're not going to launch with the space bar. This one we're actually going to just run the test right there. We're going to hit that when we're ready to launch. So we'll put that here, and at the same time when I hit the run test, it will activate stage 1 at the same time. So if you hit the space bar again, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to try and hit it twice. It'll still activate that stage whenever you do it, so don't worry about it. Anyway, I want to keep this up because not so much worried about the parachute as I am worried about hitting the wickets for the decoupler test. So we want to make sure that we're in this altitude window, and you know, me being old and feeble, I might not remember that this is the altitude I want. Other things you can look at while you're up here, there's a handy-dandy little guide. If you click on this book, it'll bring up a whole guide on the game itself. It gives you all the different controls and little nuances and stuff. Right here, it gives you a list of all your credits and research and reputation, which is kind of useless. Now again, with these, if you want it to stay up, so you can see how it goes away when I click away, just come over here and you can left click it and it'll keep it up above the menu. And with these, if you right click, it brings up the menu, and if you hit this little dot, that'll keep it up the whole time. So if I wanted to see my crew, how my crew's doing the whole time, then I want to have that window open, I can do that. And like we did with the rocket booster here, I click that and it keeps it up. Alright, so here we go. Let's launch our second mission of the day. We're going to go ahead and hit run test. This is going to fire the rocket, I think, and it's going to run the test at the same time and should finish off this job for us. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. So we're launching. And now we want to keep an eye on this because we want to activate the second coupler when we see this. Alright, there's the first one. Detach. Oh, I should have detached. There we go. Detach. Let's fire up our second thruster. Oh, do we want to actually... I think we want to test this one, not... No, we want to launch it. We're not going to get to 42,000, are we? No, I don't think 2 engines is going to be quite enough to get up there. So, but you can see this one turned green. We did it. That one is accomplished. There's also a handy gauge here I forgot to point out that shows you your atmosphere. When you get all the way up here, 70,000 meters, that's when you'll be out of the atmosphere. Anyway, so let's launch this baby. You can see we're going to start slowing down. You can see your meters per second slowing down between you and the surface. This will start slowing down. We're going to launch this second one, and it's going to give us just a little bit of a boost. Should. Bam. Yeah, not really. If you're out in space, it will give you a little bit of a boost back toward the planet, which is nice. So it can help you out. and you can see we're still heading up into the sky. So that momentum that you build up from your rocket motors will carry you quite a good distance. So we're almost there. You know, we should have kept it. We almost made 42. We might actually make 42. We should have waited. And I don't think we're going to make 42. But, alright, one more thing I want to show you guys. So we do have a pilot in there, and pilots come equipped with the SAS, or Stability Assist option. So if you click this, the pilot will take control, and she's going to, because I have her, she's going to help hold wherever you direct the ship to be. She'll hold it there for you and help you out with that. And as she upgrades, level 2, she actually gains the ability to do retrograde and prograde, which will make your ship align with the yellow. So going forward, basically it aligns you. You can align with your momentum, or your direction of momentum and movement. So that's pretty cool. It's very helpful, especially when you get to orbit and you want to like increase the size of your orbit. You can have her accelerate on the prograde, and it'll increase your orbit size. Or if you want to shrink your orbit so you can come down to the planet, you can have her accelerate to the retrograde. It works really well, helps out tremendously. Makes it a lot easier because it's very, very hard to control the spacecraft. Anyway, so it's pretty cool. And you can see her, look, her smiling out there. Let's do another crew report. We're up pretty darn high. Yeah, that'll give us a little more science. We'll keep that. Hopefully she survives. Alright, so we want our parachute. We want to deploy it between 3,000 and 10,000. Now the only problem with that's going to be our speed is it's going to be a little too fast, I think. So, I don't know. Oh, we're slowing down. So friction is actually slowing our pod down, so that's good. We didn't quite hit 42. I don't know if you guys saw. We only got up to 41, so we wouldn't have been able to do this anyway, even if we hadn't decoupled. Alright, we're going to wait till we're below 10,000, and then I will launch the parachute. We are slowing down, so it won't be an issue for that. Alright, and hopefully it'll still work. So we're below 10 there. We'll pop that parachute out. Now it should slow us down even faster here, and hopefully we can get below 170 meters per second in time for the 3,000 foot mark. In fact, what we can do is we can actually increase our parachute rate here, and we'll drop that up to 4,000 just so it does deploy fast enough for us. And bam, there we go, that mission is complete. Alright guys, I'm going to speed up time and get this thing back down to the ground, and I will be back with you momentarily. One thing I forgot to tell you guys, you can actually go to the internal view and you can see what the pilot is seeing. You can even control some of the stuff. For instance, if you have a liquid fuel rocket, you can actually control your throttle right here, and we'll actually get the throttle controls a little bit later on. There are some hotkeys for throttle control. Obviously this doesn't do anything because, well, number one, I don't have any engines attached anymore, but I don't have any liquid anyway. So it gives you your, you can actually see a lot of the stuff from inside the cockpit. You got your gimbal, you got your speed, you got your atmosphere or altitude here, and you also have a rad alt, or not rad alt, I'm sorry, VSI, or vertical speed indicator. So this is called a VSI, and it's showing you we're descending at between 500 to 600 meters per second, or 5,000 to 6,000 feet per second. Feet per minute, I'm sorry. Wow, it's one of those nights, guys, one of those nights. Anyway, a lot of this other stuff, so some of this is useful, most of it is not. So I mean, these things will just pop up showing you lights and stuff. I haven't really played around with it too much. So you have, there's your rad alt, there you go, rad alt, or radar altimeter. This tells you your height above the ground, the actual ground altitude. And then, yeah, altimeter is right there as well. And this is your mean sea level if we actually had a, you know, a real airplane. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. You can actually look out the window right there. I don't know, you might actually be able to do, yeah, I guess you can't control some of the stuff. You can control some of it, you can't. It's kind of hit or miss, but it's interesting. Interesting thing. And C, you can use C to get in and out of the view, or you can also come over here and click view on the characters themselves. Either one will work. Alright, we made it to the ground. Let's recover our vessel and get our post-mission report. Alright, crew report from upper atmosphere gave us some. We got the recovery of the vessel, gave us a little bit more, so we got 32 now. That should be enough for another upgrade. Alright, we got our money back, got good funding here, and we got no experience because she didn't do anything new that time, so that's alright. Done with that. Alright, let's come down here and knock out our reports. We've got the flea test was done. We got our rewards for that. These are the new records we broke. So for the first time we went 790 meters per second, or we set a new record of 790. We traveled 3,000 meters over the ground for the first time. And we returned to the surface, which we always return to the surface, so I don't know why that's there, but okay. And then we broke an altitude record of 22 kilometers. So there we go. That was our previous record of 22, I guess. Yeah. Alright, and then we completed this contract. So there you go, we got some good money now. We're up to 400, or almost 400,000. We actually have enough that we can upgrade our vehicle assembly, and we'll be able to build some bigger rockets next time. I think next time we'll do that. We'll also grab some new missions, and we'll see about some research. But yeah, until then, guys, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.